Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Independent Era 2 Premium Medium Tank, the Magach 5. Now the Magach 5 was in the season pass last season? No, maybe even the season before. And it's a pretty damn solid Premium Medium Tank. It's basically an M48 with all of the spaced armor slapped all over it, like all the ERA, essentially. All over it. It is basic, well, it is an Israeli adaptation of the tank. And it's pretty damn solid, like I say, because the armor's okay. It can absorb missiles every now and then. It doesn't always do it, but if you're frontally onto a tank that throws missiles out, quite a lot of the time, it just seems to go, oh, I only got damage for like 36. And you're like, yeah, I'll take that, thank you very much. So having that sort of little bit of an ability to sponge ATGMs every now and then is nice. Compared to some tanks that, obviously, an ATGM sees it and it goes, haha, there goes most of your hit points. And you go, no, my hit points. So, yeah, the Magach can have that. And as well as that, it's got the typically American gun, essentially. The gun that's on all of the M60s, all of the, well, yeah, all the M60s in Era 2. It's got that gun, and that gun is really solid. It's got pretty decent DPM, it's got pretty good handling, it's got pretty good pen. It's just a pretty damn good gun, really. And yeah, it just makes the whole tank with the mobility at 62 kilometers an hour really solid. And I mean, it was one of those things, right? Because it was basically a different version of the M60A1 Rise, right? If you know what I mean, in the fact that it's, well, this is an M48 with all the doohickeys slapped all over it, whereas the M60A1 Rise is an M60, but with all the doohickeys slapped all over it. So it's that sort of tank that was exactly, well, it's similar, if you know what I mean, in that vein. And statistically with the guns and stuff like that, it was just, and it was pretty similar, but with the mobility of the Magach 5, it was just far out better than the M60A1 Rise, because it was like, well, sure, I've got everything the same pretty much, but I just don't have the mobility on the Rise, whereas this tank had it. Now, with the Rise getting buffed, and it's got like 67 kilometers an hour top speed or something like that, it's really good. It's mixed. This tank is still pretty damn nice, though. I mean, it's always worth having, and as you saw there, that ATGM could have done far more damage than it did, but, yeah, it didn't, thankfully. And yeah, the Magachs, yeah, most of you have played it a lot, most of you have the tank, you'll know it's a pretty fun tank to play. I just like the fact that it's got 426 pen on its standard round, which means you pen most things you're going to face. And then you got 494 pen on the premium APCR, which is going to butter the fronts of the FV4211s, which is exactly what you want in this era. Because realistically, the only things you really actually need premium for is the 4211s. And if you have that near 500 pen, you just absolutely wreck their armor, which is definitely very nice. So in terms of a crew on the Magach 5, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Trap Mechanic, and Rapid Aim. Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse just better, because I like having the fast turret traverse for situations like you're seeing here, where I've got lots of things going off in lots of different directions. Also helps for the door to be able to keep the gun on target on those really, really fast light tanks, that like to fly around in the era, like armadillos and stuff like that. And all the gun perks, because naturally, especially at this point, having the gun be as filthy as it possibly can be is exactly what you want in Cold War, so that you can absolutely trash everything. And it means that you can either be really good when you're stationary, but also really, really good when you're on the move. In terms of equipment, I run Rammer, Vert Stabs, and the ammo swapper. Rammer, naturally to make my DPM 10% better. It's just naturally what you want to do. Vert Stabs to make the gun as good as possible, like I've just, for all the reasons I just pointed out. And the ammo swapper, because it's not for the premium rounds, it's for the HE rounds. The HE rounds have 250 pen for 570 damage, as opposed to the 460 that the standard round does. For leopards and light tanks and stuff like that, Object 120 over there, it's absolutely beautiful. It massively ups your DPM. If you play a tank that has good HE... thanks, game, for proving me wrong about the HE, pen in light tanks. Anyway, if you have a tank that has that 250 odd pen on the HE and has significantly more damage, you might want to think about packing ammo swappers and stuff like that to be able to use that and just have a deadly round against tanks. Because there's some tanks that will go all in on you. Like, I've had Leopards do it, and they think, aha, easy, I can just out DPM this guy. You just go, well, you do have 510 alpha, you have more than I have, and you reload faster than I do. But I have HE rounds, and then you start absolutely slapping them and pumping damage into them. It's the same on the Conqueror Mark II, which I've been playing recently. Does exactly the same. You go to 660 alpha and you absolutely trash things. It's a really good asset to have, and that's why I like to use the ammo swapper so I can use it. So in this game so far, we're up to 8.2k damage. It made that 8.6k damage with 374 assistance and 4 kills. And we've just been working these ridges on Nomini Nom. We don't have too much health, which is not good. We managed to get to 9.1k damage with that shot on the Object 120. But unfortunately, as the Leopard 1A3 was coming over, who was just in the dip at A6, I thought he was still there. He gets a shot into the side of the turret, as you can see right there, and shuts us down. But, fortunately enough for me, the team does carry it through to the victory. We finished with 4 kills, the 9.1k damage, 274 assistance. Nice amount of credits, the Ace Tanker. 1579 base XP. A pretty nice game for the Magach 5. Showed what it could do, really. It's got the nice mobility to get out to a position. You've got the really good gun depression to work a ridgeline. The gun's pretty damn nice. Again, if you want to use the HE, you can wreck people. And even if you don't use the HE, you can have a good time with it, right? Because the penetration is great. You don't have to worry about not penning things. And you can really work them over. As this one thing I like is the fact that it isn't like heat on the premium rounds. Because some of the tanks that have heat on the premium rounds, it's just like, oh, it's just sad. Because heat is really hit and miss. It's really not usable, to be honest, in Era 2. Especially in Era 3. Era 3, it's definitely not usable. In Era 2, it's against some tanks, heat's fine. And there's a lot of tanks like lightly armoured that you'd think, well, like the Leopards. Anything that you can use the HE on, that this tank has, you're going to be able to use the heat on. But it just, with the way that heat works and getting absorbed in spaced armour and things like that, it's just really awkward to use. Because there's a lot of times where you shoot people and you pen them, but you shoot them in the exact same spot and the heat just gets absorbed when you're shooting them in the side. And that's really bloody awkward. And then, naturally, if you take the, trying to think of the tank, the WZ-122, for example. The WZ-122, English, hard. It has, obviously, great ATGMs. The ATGMs are a hell of a lot of fun to use, but you have a lower standard pen at 372. That does struggle with FV4211s, and you think, well, I really need the premium round to deal with that, but it's 440 heat. And realistically, the thing that you want to be firing the 440 higher pen round at is the 4211s, and the heat is going to do nothing because of all the spaced armour on a 4211. Sometimes the heat will just go through the drive wheels, but a lot of the time it won't, and yeah, heat is a bit pointless at times, realistically. So we're in this second game, and as you can see, my ammo is, I have no premium rounds, and that's because for some reason there was an ammo reset. I have no idea. I'd set the tank up and I had the ammo that you saw in the last game, and then I put the tank away for a little bit, and then I just randomly had no premium rounds. It was like, what? That's odd. Anyway, so it actually makes it easier, to be honest with you, if you want to switch to HE or the standard rounds, because I don't have to faff about with using the premium. That's probably, I may have done that once where I completely forgot, to be fair, that I just took the premium rounds out because I thought, you know what, I don't really need them. The standard round's good enough, and I can just, it makes it easier for switching between the 2 rounds. Only having 2 rounds makes it far easier. But anyway, I digress. We're on Westfield, and we are using the ridge lines to start pummeling shots in. This Enigma comes over to try and get a shot at us, but fortunately enough, thinks better of it when he sees basically the whole team. We go for the shot. I was actually aiming for under the gun there, the Enigma, because you can pen under the gun. But we actually, I think, went through the upper plate. And as you can see, I'm still aiming for that just turret bit. We are going straight through him, which is nice. In this standard round, like I say, the gun on this tank is absolutely fabulous. Unfortunately, we take 2 tags there, which is not quite nice. Go straight for the drive wheel to pen and track him, but unfortunately, we only track the Enigma there. You get some funny shots on the Enigmas where it's like, it just doesn't like penning and tracking them at times. And you sit there going, what? Why didn't that pen and track? But anyway, we've got that Enigma's gone. Now we've got free reign to get some shots into this other Enigma, which we're pummeling the shots into right now, which is nice. And we're just watching that Magach 6B. I'm wanting to get to that little ridge where he is, though, because from there I can start shooting the people where I've just been looking. We know there's people over there because when I was on top of the other ridge, I got detected, which made, well, there's always people over there where the bridge is, always. And if you get to this position over here, you can see them really easily, and you can farm the living poop out of them, which is great. So you can see I'm looking for the people on the bridge, and there they are, the T-72A. We just spotted that, saw that guy, and it's like, well, it's time to start farming the people that are thinking they're unspotted and fine, because we can use True Vision for that. And like I say, this position is really great for this because it's really just advantageous to take out those, because people do just like to sit over there. And I think the K-line, or zero line, K-line on Westfield in Cold War is pretty pointless, because it's really, unless you go straight to K0 and sit there, it's really exposed. And if people get to positions like I'm at now, they can just farm the living crap out of you. And unless obviously you get spotted, or you just use your eyes, you will struggle to be able to keep getting shots at me. But I'll just keep farming you for days, and that's exactly what's happening here. We're up to 8,090 damage so far, and they are literally just staying there. It's almost like people don't expect it, right? Where you start farming them, and they don't expect you to just keep going and keeping on shooting at them while they're unspotted. And then they realise a bit late after all the hit points have gone. But we are just keeping on plugging, and we get another shot into the WZ-122. I'm being careful at 122 because I'm expecting him to launch a missile at me at some point. And then, speak of the devil, there it is. I was expecting the missile to come flying at me, and yeah, there was the missile. I was very correct on that, because naturally he was always going to fire it at some point. And unfortunately, there we ended up taking 2 hits, which from them finally, which puts us onto probably a 1-shot for a few, and, well, possibly mostly a 2-shot, but, you know, still possibly a 1-shot. So I've just got to be a little bit more careful now. So I stopped poking in that same position because they're clearly very heavily locked onto where I was. So I'm not just going to risk it. We get some nice shots into this M60A3, and we're up to 10,838 damage. And now that I have basically changed my position, they've probably lost me, so I think, you know, I'm going to go back up and start pumping more shots into him. I think we ended up tracking the Leopard there instead of shooting the WZ-122, which we did, and we get to finish off that Leopard 1A3. There's only 2 tanks left. We're up to 11,718 damage. English is hard today, I'm telling you. And we finished the game with that total, which is a really great total for the Magach 5. Epic victory, 2 kills, 11,718, 602 assists, the ace tanker, 1,508 base XP. A really great game for the Magach 5, a really nice total, lots of money made. It's a really solid tank. It's just exactly the same as all the other M60s, or the M60A1 Rise in the way it plays, and the way it feels to play. If you've played those tanks, you'll know what it feels like. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!